and Muslim. Didn't I say that? So I would say that what you need to do, go home and punch in the word Sharia, and then look at it real well, and then take my card, call me back, and then modify your judgment. But you have to be objective to do so. Just as if I make some statements about Australia, because I heard something, I read something, I thought something or whatever, and then somebody corrected me and said, no, that's not correct, what would it be good for me to do? Once I found out the facts, I should say, well, I was wrong about that, I apologize, and I should modify it. I think you'll do that once you find out. The city of Mecca is called Haram. Why? Because it's a sanctuary. The place that is designated in the home where the women can take off their clothes and relax, that area is called Haram. So it comes from a root word. Now, yes, for sure, there have been excesses in Muslim civilizations like there were excesses in other civilizations, but the basis of it is not Islam. And I repeat it over and over. I came to talk about Islam as a system, as a law, which God revealed as a legislation, not the people who deviated from that. And now, those people that deviated from that, they are the extraordinary. They are not the rule. Now, I would only ask a Christian, a non-Muslim, to be fair. That don't just snatch things out of the air as examples and say, well, didn't this happen? Did Muslim do this? Did Muslim do that? No, take a comprehensive look at Islam. An objective look at Islam. What the Quran actually said. What the Prophet Muhammad actually did. What is their evidence about Islamic civilization, not the deviations that some Muslims did? Because if I want to be objective and fair about Christianity, I should first look to the sources. What did Jesus Christ say? How did Jesus Christ live? And how did his companions live? And what were their principles? And if I agree, as I do, that they were honorable and decent and dignified principles, then I don't blame the people who call themselves Christians for all the crimes that they performed against Muslims and others, and still performing. I don't blame them. I don't blame Christians for Charles Manson, or Timothy McVeigh, or the IRA, or Jim Jones. I don't blame Christians for that. So why do we continue to harp on deviations that were done at different times and ages over a period of 1,500 years by some Muslims and not give the credit or even read into the Quran itself?
Well, I've read into the Quran, and I'm puzzled by something that says after, when he said that men are the maintainers of women, it says after that, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but it says that it's in Surah Nisa. It says that if the women don't look after this is not, I'm not saying this correctly, but this is sort of roughly what it says, that if the women don't, if they're a deviant, they should be beaten.
That's not, you're jumping all around there. That's not what it says. It doesn't say if they're deviant, they should be beaten. That's not what it says there. There is a verse in the Quran that speaks about yadribuhunna. This is the Arabic terminology. It means admonish them. And yadrib here could mean beat. It could mean that, yadribuhunna could mean beat. But let's take the example of the Prophet himself, because it was revealed to him, right? Did you ever read anything where the Prophet said to beat a woman? Did you ever read anything where the Prophet himself said, or he did himself beat a woman?
No, I haven't.
Okay, enough said.
But I mean,
the point is, any women that are here, there's no woman here with black eyes. There's nothing, I mean, it's absurd to think that in Islam, that we are the kind of, that Islam tells us that if a woman makes a mistake or she's deviant, she's that, beat her up. No, yadribuhunna is a word that's in the Quran, and it could be meant to beat. But it means here to admonish them. That's what it means. Now, why men have the right to do this is another issue that maybe we can't reconcile right here. But beating women, beating up women, abusing women, torturing women, throwing women in dungeons, and all those kind of things that are given as depictions about Muslims is incorrect, that is wrong, and it's unfair. That is not the case. And I ask, let's be fair. I ask, how many Muslim women are here? How many Muslim women are in this room? How many? Can you stand up for me, please? Now, what I would ask any woman to do fairly and justly, go and ask any one of these Muslim women, does the Quran oppress them? Does the Quran provide them their rights? Is the Quran unjust towards them? Has the Quran made them second-class citizens? Do they feel undignified? Do they feel abused? Do they feel exploited? Are these depictions accurate? If they are the ones and they are the women, how we make depictions and we don't make reference to them? That would be the fair thing to do. So, no, I understand. I understand that, and anytime that you're trying to understand something that you don't speak the language of, nor are you speaking to somebody who is an authority of, and you're coming at it with preconditioning, obviously there's going to be some kind of distortion involved. I just say to you from the very beginning, try to remove those distortions for a moment, and not you. I was basically what you thought was written. Okay, and just like I answered that gentleman over here, did you hear what I asked when he said about the translation? Let's face it. Let's face it. If you told this lady something in her ear, and she told him in his ear, by the time it just got down to the end of this road, what would it be? Just 5 words. It would be distorted. It would be misconstrued. It would not be what you intended. What about a sacred book that was revealed 1,424 years ago in a language that you're not even reading it in? I ask you and anybody else, just be objective and be fair. If you want to read the Quran, don't go into a library and read something that you think is a translation, and because you're a woman, read about women. No. This translation is by... I don't care who it's by. I'm just giving you, I'm offering you something that I think you have an obligation to do. Yeah. That if you take a book that has 6,626 verses, just because you're a woman, don't look at the verses applying to women and misconstrue that. But no, read the whole book, and then secondly, and that's beautiful. That's beautiful. But what I advise you to do, what your name is? Your name? It's okay. Well, sister, let me advise you this. If you are considering to be a Muslim or not, still I advise you the same thing. Look before you leap. And because Islam, because the Quran is not something that you can just open up and just arbitrarily read. You're an intelligent person, but can you just open up a book of pharmacology and just read it? Can you? Well, excuse me.
If you didn't stop me from speaking, I'm trying to explain that the book is by Maududi. Sorry, is that how you say that?
Maududi is not our authority in our religion.
Oh, sorry, he isn't?
No, he isn't.
Oh, sorry.
He's just another Muslim. And again, I'm saying to you that you can easily misconstrue something that you are not familiar with. This is the issue I'm trying to say to you. And I'm not castigating you. I'm not admonishing you. I'm not singling you out. I'm only trying to tell you that if you want to understand something, you can't understand it on the basis of yourself. You're a novice. There are people who have been Muslim all their lives and they're not qualified to interpret the Quran. I say you should go to someone who's an authority in the language and the religion and ask them, could you explain this verse for me? And they can do that for you. And if you did that step by step, you'll have these questions answered. But if you don't do that, you're going to get understandings that are unique to yourself, to your own subjectivity. This is what happens. Because I asked you the question, could anyone here who is a novice about pharmacology just simply open up a book of pharmacology reference and prescribe for themselves medicines for a particular ailment, could they do that?